November Golf, over.
This is Whiskey 9 to go.
Whiskey 9, 7 November, interrogative Alpha Bravo.
Negative Alpha Bravo.
And this is 7 November Golf, Roger. Request you check your Romeo side. I'll go ahead and check my Tango side. 7 November Golf out.
7 November 8 to 5, 30 miles before I can come up off Playground.
And 8 to 5, 7 November, say again.
Roger, I said it can be about 30 minutes before I come up on the
7 November, go.
Roger, I copied a while ago, 1 Charlie transmission that my thing used, didn't go here, I think, Charlie. 7 November Golf, 1 Charlie Echo.
And 8 to 5, this is 7 November, Roger, that's Charlie.
8 to 5, Roger.
Now 1 Charlie, 7 November, go.
This is 1 Charlie, welcome to your line. You're Brandon 158, extra 5 o'clock, 1200 between teams and local. Also request your unit take extra message to see if we can try to get Whiskey 9 and 8 for the playground.
And this is 7 November, Roger, stand by.
Got that.
Got it? Alright. And all units, this is 7 November Golf. My unit Alpha, Echo, X-ray Alpha, Alpha in there.
One Charlie, Alpha Bravo.
Hey, I never took a dip. I forgot to take a dip.
Whiskey 9, 7 November, interrogative Alpha Bravo. Whiskey 9, Yankee, 7 November Golf, over.
This is Whiskey 9 to go.
Whiskey 9, 7 November, interrogative Alpha Bravo. Whiskey 9, Yankee, 7 November Golf, over.
This is Whiskey 9 to go.
Whiskey 9, 7 November, interrogative Alpha Bravo.
Negative Alpha Bravo.
And this is 7 November Golf, Roger. Request you check your Romeo side. I'll go ahead and check my Tango side. 7 November Golf out.
7 November 8 to 5, 30 miles before I can come up off Playground.
And 8 to 5, 7 November, say again.
Roger, I said it can be about 30 minutes before I come up on the
7 November, go.
Roger, I copied a while ago, 1 Charlie transmission that my thing used,
Okay, happy Sunday, everybody. Let me get set up here. I guess I should have done this before we went live, but hey, we're here now. All right. Starting with this first question, I got my, hold on, I messed up here. I need to resize this. I'm also exporting it. This is just not a good start. What an amateur. Okay. We're good now. I got my decision that you're back, and I'm not sure whether a supplemental or higher level review is the right way to go, and I'm afraid to make the wrong decision. Okay, Ryan Dyer, thank you for being a member. Feel free to redact the PII, so your social security number is on every single page of that decision letter. And if you want to post that in the Discord, I can give you a better answer. I'm going to give you a general answer. I'm going to give everyone a general answer right now for appeals. You also have another comment. Let me see what this says, because I was only able to submit most of my service after deferral. Okay, so supplemental or higher level review is the question. Here's the answer. The HLR, me personally, I always recommend an informal conference. You don't have to if you don't want to. You can do a 4138 personal statement instead of the informal conference. I'm always going to recommend the informal conference for HLR personally. But the HLR, higher level review, is to, a VA rater will basically look at all your evidence again and double tap, meaning you have to have the evidence. So the decision for HLR or supplemental should be pretty easy. I'm actually going to give you Jason's thoughts on this as well. If you have the evidence submitted with that claim already, It's already submitted. You already have the evidence. Then HLR is the route. When I say evidence, I don't mean what you feel is evidence. I mean the big three. You had the in-service event. You had the current diagnosis. If the C&P examiner with these two were not able to make the Nexus, I would do an HLR prior to going the medical opinion route. Personally, that's what I would do. But that's why you have to have the evidence. If you don't have the evidence, right? Let's say you didn't have a current chronic diagnosis, then you have to go get a current chronic diagnosis. Then that would be a supplemental. So, for instance, in that scenario, if you did not have the current diagnosis and you did the HLR, the VA will just see you don't have the diagnosis, and then boom, it'll be denied again. Assuming there's no duty to assist error there. So supplemental claim generally is for new evidence. Now, Jason from Veterans Info Tap, he's of the opinion, which I can definitely agree with for many cases, is supplemental is the way to go. So even if you have the evidence, supplemental allows you to submit new and relevant evidence, and you can basically double down on whatever that evidence is or that's missing. So there you go. It depends on what your reason for denial is. Current diagnosis is just the easiest one. There's 3 reasons: the in-service event, so evidence from service, hello, and then the current chronic diagnosis, and then of course the Nexus, which these two are the foundation of that Nexus. I hope that answered your question, Ryan. Tried to be as broad as I could there because there's many reasons a claim can be denied. All right, Billy Boy, thank you for being a member. Says, how long typically does stage 5 take? I'm in Ohio and it's a pack that claim. At least my VSO said it make it faster. No. So there's not a single, and please listen to me here, everyone. There's not a single person on the planet, not one. Nobody can tell you an accurate timeline for your claim. I don't care what type of claim it is, PACT Act. There's no such thing as a PACT Act claim. It's just a disability that's presumptive under that piece of legislation. Fully developed claim, PACT Act, whatever type of claim you got, no one can tell you an accurate timeline. So I can't answer that. And that is, Bill, the answer to your question is no one knows. I hate giving you that answer, but that is the answer. Okay. Live Free or Die. Thank you for being a member. Says, I had my C&P exam for tinnitus last week, and they didn't do a single hearing test, only asked me a bunch of questions. Is that odd? No, so tinnitus is not hearing loss. Hearing loss is hearing loss. Tinnitus is ringing in your ears. And so a question that could have been asked is, do you have ringing in your ears? Yes or no? Now, when it comes to tinnitus, and tinnitus is definitely linked heavily with hearing loss, you'll see that in the tinnitus proposal where the VA is falling in line with those changes to tinnitus. So tinnitus is linked to hearing loss. It's linked to, I'm going to say vertigo or dizziness. In 38 CFR, it'll say peripheral vestibular disorders. That's paraphrased. It may be something else. And then, of course, any sort of neurological or TBI condition can lead to tinnitus. So it depends on what your evidence states. If it's just tinnitus by itself, which is most likely the case, at least as of right now, that's normal. Okay, that's absolutely normal. Don't worry about that. Wishing you the best. Michael Jefferson, thank you for being a member, says, Clay, how do I fight a bad PTSD exam for increase? Currently 50%, looking to move to 70. Yes, I absolutely love this question. Because for an increase, is it required for you to have current medical evidence on record? It's not. However, I would never recommend anyone ever, for whatever reason, to submit a claim without evidence, even for an increase. So my answer to you, Michael, my answer to this question is, one, I don't know what your evidence is like prior to the C&P exam, but assuming you have none, I would go to your VA or private. You choose whatever you want. Get treatment for that. Talk about your symptoms, whatever that looks like to you. It doesn't have to be medication. It can just be talking to someone. But talk about those symptoms as to why you rate 70% instead of 50. Now, what I am going to do, and I need to share my screen real quick. I will show you a video, and I'll link it below. Oh, yes. Look at that beautiful, beautiful, mediocre channel right there. Okay, whatever. This will have to do. One of my favorite videos I ever made is right here. I'm going to link this for you. It talks about 70% symptoms. And you're going to have these symptoms, okay? Or a version of these are just what 70% could look like. You're going to have the symptoms, okay? It's not say the right things and you'll get 70%. You're going to have those symptoms, and your psychiatrist will help you out on that. And that's my answer to that question, okay? If you disagree with the C&P examiner and have no evidence, it's kind of hard to lean on nothing, because then whatever the C&P examiner says becomes your evidence. Hence, why I always recommend getting evidence, even for increases, specifically for increases, for a big one going from 50 to 70%. That can definitely have an overall increase on your rating. But I hope that answers your question, man. Okay, Kings, thank you for being a member. I didn't file tinnitus when leaving the military. I claimed hearing loss. And knowing the difference, what options do I have? Okay, let me set my alarm real quick for 4:30 so I can open the chat up to everyone. Okay, what options do you have? Submit tinnitus. If you have tinnitus, if you have hearing loss, you probably have tinnitus, and you're probably exposed to noisy environments over an extended period of time, probably. And so your option is just to simply file for tinnitus. That's it. That's a super easy one. I wouldn't even sweat that too hard. All right, we have some donations that I'll get to in order here. Right now, it's all members. So my C&P, thank you, by the way. My C&P examiner called me back for an x-ray. The results confirmed what I claimed. Do you think this is positive? Absolutely. Yes, 100%. Now, I would prefer you already had the x-ray submitted with that claim, but that's already out the window. You have the x-ray. It shows a current diagnosis, I assume, so that's good. Now, I don't know if this is for service connection or an increase. If it's for service connection, that's only one of the big three. You still need evidence from service, what's known as the in-service event. And then, of course, the in-service event and your current diagnosis become the foundation, okay, the groundwork for your C&P examiner to make that nexus. But based on this comment alone, yes, that's positive for your claim, because you have it shows the current diagnosis. And that's an assumption there. Okay, I'm in stage 5, rating 2. VA got the DBQ August 9th, and now the wait. Trying to distract myself the best I can. Yes, absolutely. Now, there is I hate saying this. I like giving everyone their options, but there is the VA claim tracker tool that you can use to see more information about your claim. VA claim tracker. Let me see if I can look this up for you. Yep, here it is. Boom. Okay. Let me get this. Whoa, look at that. Okay, I like this angle better. Okay, it's right here. I'm going to copy this and post it in the link. But that's the VA claim tracker tool. Now, I personally do not recommend checking the status of your claim, because it's going to make you insane. But a lot of people feel comfort in that. So there's your options. Okay, B-Buck, what's up? Thank you, B-Buck. B-Buck is working on some products for the TheCivDiv. Glasses, glassware. He actually made these right here, which is a coaster. This says USMC PSYOP. It's got the little Marine Corps Psychological Operations symbol there. He just makes all kinds of stuff. Okay, here's another one. This one's a little wet. That's the Marine Corps logo. So more to follow on that. Thank you, B-Buck. Thank you for everything, especially the donations for the Nexus letters. That's insane. Okay, put that back over there. Let's see. OJ Wild. Hey, Clay, just had my HLR conference on Friday as a follow-up for my decision due to the Louisville clinic. Thanks for your help out there. I'll let you know how it goes. Please do. Please do. A lot. I want to say about 30 veterans, maybe 40, reached out to me from the Louisville VA Claim Clinic that was at the VFW's National Convention this year in July. I think that was July. Those 30 had decisions within either same day or 2 to 3 days. A few, like OJ here, kind of got streamlined through the process. Okay, Paul, thank you very much, brother. You don't have to do that. I definitely appreciate that. What's up? How's it going? I need to get access to records and iPerms. Been out 11 years. Any help, insight, and super chat because your channel helped me help myself and family. Okay, one, thank you very much, dude. Seriously, I appreciate that. And that's what the purpose of this whole channel is, to enable veterans to just figure it out. Okay. I'm never going to buy that veterans are too stupid or the VA process is too hard to understand. In my opinion, veterans can take over the world. We really need to stop selling ourselves short. But for iPerms, okay, let me take, what are you looking for specifically? And I assume you mean the Army because we're talking iPerms. Let me know what you're looking for. You can't because you're Army. Okay. It's for HR stuff. I need to know what you're looking for. Okay, Paul. For you, Paul, I'm going to put my email. This is Paul only. Okay. I need to ask you a few more questions. clay.sims@civdiv.com. Subject line, Paul. Paul, email me. I have a few more questions for you. I want to ask as to what you're looking for in the first place and see many routes to get it. Depends what you're looking for, and I will help you out all throughout the process. Thank you very much for that. Send me the email. Send it to me soon so I can star it, because I'm pretty sure people are going to email me no matter what. That's going to happen. So send me an email. I got my phone right here ready. I'll star it and then answer your question. Okay. Hello, Clay. I'm happy to make the live chats. Thank you for joining, Angela. Appreciate it. Thank you for being a moderator as well. Thank you for all you do for us veterans. You rock. Thank you. Cool beans. Alex Riviera. Thank you very much. Alexis Riviera, excuse me. You don't have to do that. Okay. Here at 4:30 in 12 minutes, the chat will be open. I use this mainly so members can just chit chat and ask questions. Okay. I have paperwork saying TMJ is a possibility from oral surgery at Navy Hospital 24 years ago. That's a significant time gap there. Do I need to pay a specialist saying I have TMJ? My jaw locks, open and cracks, pops. VA doctors are awful. Okay, so I don't know what your question is, if it's healthcare related or disability related. So I'll just answer both quickly. Healthcare depends on what your VA rating is. And if you have a dental condition service connected. I'm going to assume you do. In that case, it would be free. If you didn't, you would need 100% P&T to have TMJ treatment, dental treatment specifically. Whoa, that one got me. Over here on the disability side of the house, you have the in-service event, okay? I don't know where that evidence is located. I'm going to assume it's in your dental records from service. You have the in-service event. Dental conditions don't heal over time. They actually get worse. You probably have a current diagnosis. I would double tap on that. Now, there is a significant time gap there. So there's like a hidden criteria for the big three. and that's continuity of symptoms. It does not have to be continuity of care. So what was your dental health like from 24 years ago all the way to today? Question one. And if you have the current diagnosis, which I assume you do, and you can write a statement or showing, whatever treatment, even over-the-counter medication you've been taking for the last 24 years, I would just leave it at that and submit the claim. I would definitely not recommend going a private Nexus, private DBQ route for initial claims. Me personally, I am a fan of those pieces of evidence, and they're very, very strong. I wish more VSOs would get on board with that. But it's my opinion to use those in appeals, not necessarily initial claims. Now, if you can get your VA primary care to complete a DBQ for you, that's great. But I definitely wouldn't pay for one for initial claims. People ask me, why do I recommend that all the time? And here's why. Because if you have the in-service event and you have the current diagnosis, you would think a C&P examiner can link both of those to service. Hence, you're kind of just wasting money at that point. Appeals are a different story. All right, Bill. Yep, no worries, Bill. Thank you for being a member. Thank you for, if there's no questions, there's no live chat. All right, Jessica Mortensen, thank you for being a member. Says, any way to redirect or redact the claim, We claimed alcohol abuse. The claim status says it's an increase instead of a new claim. I'm assuming it's tying the increase. Yeah, that's because those are the same thing. So, for instance, if that's service connected, you'll see PTSD with alcohol abuse. Paraphrase, it can say many things. And yes, it is an increase to your mental health. So the VA did what they're supposed to do here. For you, Jessica, I would look at what your rating is for PTSD. If you're 30%, I would look at 50 and 70. If you're 50%, I would look at 70. And then, of course, if you're 70%, I would look at that 100% criteria, although it's very rare to reach that for mental health. But I've seen it. One of my good friends has that specifically. Now, but yeah, to answer your question, the VA did exactly what they're supposed to do here. Everything checks out. Everything is normal. And that's it. I would treat it like an increased claim. All right, John Fody, thanks for all you do for the community, sir. Yeah, John, thank you, man. When I first started the channel, John Fody was the, president, CEO of Dale K. Graham. Okay, he led Dale K. Graham Veteran Foundation out of Oklahoma. He's since then moved on to another position. But John Fody's been on this channel before. Dale K. Graham has their own YouTube channel. You can check it out. You'll see me on there. You'll see John on there, as well as one of their VSO reps. But yeah, John, thank you. Also, LinkedIn. This is my first time streaming to LinkedIn. I have no idea how that works. I don't even have it open yet. I'll just have to watch it later and see if I'm going to continue streaming on LinkedIn or not. I don't think LinkedIn would be a big, streaming audience anyways, but whatever. We'll cross that bridge. Okay. Nuclear Chicken. Thank you very much, Nuclear Chicken here. He's the moderator for the Discord. He's the main moderator. He keeps everything in line for the Discord channel for members. So thank you very much. If you're denied for direct service connection, is there a way to convert it to a secondary without losing the effective date? Okay. You're thinking down your, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Your thought process is a little skewed here. If you're denied, no matter what, if you want to claim, if you want to file for secondary, whatever you want to do, it's going to be a supplemental claim. Okay. So you have to appeal it. HLR for this instance is obviously out of the question. I wouldn't recommend the board, especially if you're going a whole new thought process on this. It's going to be a supplemental. Within the supplemental claim, the 0995, you're going to annotate the secondary condition. Now, I highly recommend, I can't stress this enough, especially for supplementals in this instance, you really need evidence indicating the secondary connections exist in the first place. So the video I posted yesterday of the live one-on-one and the results of that one-on-one, that is a very clear cut blank evidence, I definitely recommend you go watch that Nuclear, the one-on-one piece, because that veteran talks about how they have a severe lower back condition, and now they have depression. Depression's not service connected, the back is. And I was like, hey, you're really going to need evidence talking to your psychiatrist or psychologist about how your back is causing you to be depressed. That veteran, because they're informed and educated, they already had that evidence. So they've spoken to their primary care, whoever that's with, VA or private, and said, hey, I'm depressed because of X, Y, Z. They got the treatment, but all of a sudden, now they have evidence indicating the secondary exists in the first place. That would be solid medical evidence here for your case. I don't know what claim you're talking about. You can I can give you a more narrow, specific answer. You feel free to pop that in the Discord because it's about to be 4:30 anyways. But depending on what claim it is, what disability you're talking about, I would absolutely recommend getting evidence that indicates the secondary exists in the first place. And then to answer your question, it would be a supplemental appeal, and the same 1 year appeal time frame applies for back pay. But thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right, Teddy. Teddy says, thank you for being a member. Is it for service connection? And I do have in-service events, just needed the Nexus. I don't even know what you're talking about. Let me see if there's a previous question that you asked. Oh, okay, I see. All right. My CMP examiner called me back for an x-ray. The results confirmed what I claimed. Do you think that's positive? All right. And let me go to this one here. It's for service connection, and I do have in-service events, just need the Nexus. Yes, in that instance, so you have evidence from service. You now have a current diagnosis. I don't know what condition we're talking about, but I assume the x-ray would confirm or deny the current diagnosis. Those become the foundation for the Nexus. The Nexus, not Nexus letter. I mean Nexus, that the CMP examiner is probably going to make in your case, Teddy. So overall, it looks like you have a favorable claim here. Now, I'm saying that without seeing the evidence and just looking at 2 YouTube comments. Keep that in mind. Okay, Sharma, thank you very much. Definitely appreciate that. Here in 30 minutes, the chat will be open. Okay. Jamie Lee, we're getting an odd number of donations today. I definitely appreciate that. It always feels weird. You don't have to do that. Okay. At 4:30, the chat will open. I have the first 30 minutes for members to ask questions. Some people ask about their day, whatever. Okay. I have a long question. Can I email you? Jamie Lee, yes, you may. You're a member. I would prefer you put it in Discord, but if it's personal for whatever reason, Jamie Lee, you can also send me an email. So Paul and Jamie Lee, send me an email. If you're not those two, don't send me an email. I'm not going to read it. I'm just letting you know right now. I get thousands of emails every single week. Paul, I just got yours. I started. Okay. Kellyan, dude. Thank you. I always feel weird. I'm never not going to feel weird. Okay. Thank you very much, man. I definitely appreciate that. It's not needed whatsoever. I don't want to say who you are. I know why you're doing that. But thank you very much. I appreciate it. And congrats to you. Okay. So I found out the results of all my CMP exams were favorable. From the doc, stupid question, but does that mean the rater will find them positive also? More than likely, yes. Overwhelmingly, more than likely, yes. So VA raters are not medical professionals at all, and they heavily rely on the opinion of these contracted CMP exams. That's a whole other story that I really don't like. But in this instance, yes, the VA rater, as long as there's no competing evidence and the VA process did what the VA process is supposed to do, and nothing was overlooked or underlooked, it's going to be favorable. So overall, man, wishing you the best. It seems like you're going to be fine. Okay, Ryan Dyer, service-connected migraine from a physician assistant. PA buddy statements, migraine, and do stroke take. Service-connected migraine from a PA, buddy statements migraine, and do stroke. Take medication for migraine, still denied. Ryan, definitely you're a member, so join the Discord if you haven't already. Redact your decision letter. I'm going to have to iron this out. There's a lot that can happen here, but post that decision letter and I'll answer your question better. It's 4:30. I need to change this to open, so let me do that here. It'll take me 30 seconds. But everyone, thank you for being a member. I definitely appreciate that. Now okay, it should be open. So if you are not a member and on YouTube, chime in. It should be open to everyone. I'm going to keep going in order until we get down to the bottom here. So I found out my CMP exam results were all favorable. Oh, we answered that one. Nuclear, if the military removed wisdom teeth in service, is that enough for an in-service event for the VA if a dentist doctor thinks they may relate to later issues? It could be, absolutely. Now, having wisdom teeth removed is a normal procedure, okay? I would be more, not interested, but more curious if something happened that caused that to happen, or during the operation, something else happened, okay? But yes, anything that happens in service can be related to any other condition, okay? The question is the evidence there? Evidence meaning your personal evidence. So let's take sleep apnea and PTSD. VeteranAI has PTSD, submitted sleep apnea secondary. They have tons of correlating factors. They're service connected. Veteran B has PTSD. They submit sleep apnea. They are really obese because of whatever reason, not from service. The VA can deny that veteran, right? So just because evidence for sleep apnea exists for PTSD does not mean it exists for you. You and your evidence, which is personal, intimate, unique to you, your evidence has to show the service connection or the indication of the secondary. Okay. Chalk, thanks for being a member. Appreciate that. Currently at 30% for migraines, was approved May in 24. Should I submit an increase or would this be an appeal? Neurologist will be putting me on additional medication for more severe symptoms. You can appeal it, okay? I do think it's going to have the same result because your new evidence would indicate a higher rating, assuming it's increased anyways. And so the VA is going to use that effective date probably. But either or, you're saying 6 one way, half a dozen the other within 1 year. Now, after that 1 year mark, it has to be an increase. Okay. Luciano, thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. And OJ Wild, man, an odd number of donations. Don't forget, you don't have to do this, okay? The chat is open. I will answer any and all questions, but thank you very much. I definitely appreciate that. All right, TheCivDiv, thanks, Clay, for all you do. USMC Big B, thank you. So Big B has been a day one since like, I don't know, August of 2022 when I started the channel. So thank you very much, Steve. Appreciate that. Hi, Clay. I don't retire till the end of the month, and I have my proposed cumulative rating. Is there someone at the VA I can call to find out each individual rating before the ratings go final? So you're in the BDD process. Personally, I'm going to assume you use a VSO for your claim. I would speak with them. They're going to have VBMS access, and that's going to be the best, fastest route for you to look at that. So that'd be my advice, is use an accredited rep. If you, for whatever reason, don't have an accredited rep, I would advise you to go get an accredited rep, do the 2122. They'll have access, and then you can do that thing. If for some reason you don't want to do that, okay, you can call the VA and try your best, but any sort of request or FOIA, the VA will give you the answer. You're going to retire before you get that paperwork anyways. So accredited rep for you right now would be your best option, at least in my opinion. All right, Clay, I just pulled up on LinkedIn and don't see a stream for you there. Yeah, I haven't used LinkedIn for streaming ever. I have to sign in. Okay, I'll check it out later. Akai Jackson, thank you very much for being a member. Welcome to the team. You can download Discord. It's essentially a 24/7 live Q&A in there. Veterans answer other veterans questions. The chill spot. So download Discord, link your account. Okay, Kings, do you have recommendations for how to service connect or make secondary a diagnosis connect frequent urination, overactive bladder? I have lower back, MH, migraine, and IBS rating. Yeah, so you need a current diagnosis, which I assume you have. I believe your lower back condition probably has the most correlation to your urinary frequency. What you need is to talk to your provider. This is definitely a doctor conversation. It's not something you ask me. You need to talk to your provider and say, hey, I have this condition. I have this lower back condition. Are those related in any way, shape, or form? They can be, but it's not a blanket, right? So my lumbar spine condition, which is a lower back condition, does not cause me to have overactive bladder, where yours possibly could. It also possibly could not. So what is the cause of your overactive bladder is a conversation that you need to have with your professional, your healthcare team. Now, depending on what that answer is, and hopefully it's got something to do with your lower back, that is evidence indicating the secondary. Boom, submit the secondary claim. That would be my recommendation, at least. Okay. Also, I will say the most common urinary frequency connection that we see is those who are on medication for hypertension. That medication starts with a T. It's a type of medication. Hold on. Hypertension medication that makes you pee. Oh, what's it called? A diuretic. Starts with a T. Man, Google is not helping me out right now. Water pill. Boom. Torsemide. Whatever. Diuretic. I can't say the medication name. That's very common for that. So look into it, Kings. All right, Big B. The CivDiv scratch that. I found it. It's all good. A few seconds delayed. Oh, okay. Word. All right. Bill, Clay, got you here. Awesome. Word. Perfect. Okay, got it. Akai Jackson, how do you avoid the development to deny phenomena? This is such a good question. I'm going to answer it for sure. I did an in-person CMP exam, and the VA requested a medical opinion for my MDD and went with that instead of my in-person exam. Oh, man. For this specific situation, I would need to see your evidence, which obviously I can't do that. But I'll tell you this, okay? Generally speaking, I'm of the opinion to, one, submit evidence-based claims. That part is critical. So what that means is submitting your evidence from service and submitting your current diagnosis and current treatment. So that way, if the VA says anything, you have something to lean on. That's kind of your safety net, is that evidence-based claim. Now, as far as developing to deny, which isn't a real term, it's like a YouTube made that up. But what it gets at is exactly what you're saying, right? So multiple CMP exams, maybe you had a favorable opinion. Your first CMP exam, something was missed or overlooked. So now the VA had to request another opinion for that. There's so many things that can happen. Maybe the VA did not submit all of the relevant evidence to your first CMP exam. So now they have this evidence and they have to submit it to a second CMP exam. There's tons of things that can happen. Okay. What can you do about it? Nothing really. That's what sucks. except for submitting that evidence-based claim. It's difficult to answer that question, Akai, A-C-A-I, Akai. Go ahead, download Discord. I have tons of questions for you to kind of hammer that out, but download Discord, hit me up in the chat, and we can talk on that as to what exactly is going down. Okay. Bob W says 1 out of 2. These are always good ones. Had a CMP exam for CAD. Was that artery disease, core heart condition? Examiner asked questions for an interview based on meds. My response: symptoms fell within 3 to 5 meds rating. However, the examiner checked the block for 7 to 10. Okay. Let me see your other 2 out of 2 here. Should I submit 4138 describing the discrepancy and request a new CMP exam or request an HLR? If you have hardcore evidence that states what you said is true, the VA should catch that. Okay, just depends. I'm not an expert on METs. Let me just go 38 CFR. 38 CFR. Cardiovascular. Hold on. Coronary artery disease. Excuse me. I don't think it would be an issue if the non-serviced heart disease is superimposed on service-connected valvular or other non-really big word heart disease. Request a medical opinion as to which condition is causing the current signs and symptoms. And so those would be rated under that. I don't think it would be a big issue, man. Okay. I would write it out. Have that ready, Bob. I don't think it will be an issue. Cat is cat. Okay. That's just all there is to it. Okay. Jose Natal. I have a question. If my VA disability is static, can it be reduced? So static does not mean it can't be reduced, technically speaking. Now, that's the technical answer. The real world answer is you're static. Don't worry about it. You're fine. Any YouTube, this is like a YouTube phenomena. Any YouTube video that talks about you being reduced is really just kind of fanning the fire, in my opinion. Okay, I have those same videos as well. I would know. If you're static, you have nothing to worry about. If you're PNT, you have nothing to worry about. If you have evidence that shows your static condition has improved, that's a different story. But it's static for a reason. Okay, I don't know what condition you're talking about, but musculoskeletal conditions are going to be static. Your body is not going to heal. So your bad back is only going to get worse. Hence why those are 99.9% all the time rated as static. But I would need to know like what disability we're talking about, how long you've been rated for that, for service connection, so on and so forth. Okay. I went to the VFW event expecting my rating, but I still haven't received anything. Okay. So the majority of veterans I've spoken to have gotten ratings that same day or within 2 to 3 days of that event. Those who did not receive ratings, it basically pushed it up. It streamlined the process. Now, not every disability is the exact same. For instance, there's ratings that can't be rated in a single day because they have to be developed. Some require a specialized CMP exam that wasn't on staff at that event. So there's a million examples or reasons why your claim was not decided in one day. Obviously, it was not. So something's going on right there. So if you give me more details as to what you claimed, was it secondary to anything, what that looks like, I can definitely have a better answer for you. Now, we have some people that I totally skipped over. I don't know how that happened, but Akai with a $1 donation, thank you very much. You do not have to do that. No one has to donate, okay? But I definitely appreciate that. Where are we at here? Gene says, I really like your channel. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. You know, content creation is a little weird, to be honest with you. It always feels weird being on camera. But I try to inform and educate the best I can. Dusky Gator. I absolutely love that name. Welcome to the team. Welcome. Thank you for being a member. Download Discord. Members only. Download Discord. Link your account. It's basically a live. It's 24/7 live Q&A in there. Let me open it up right now. So right now, and ask your questions. Oh, Ryan, you're going to have to link your account, Ryan. Okay. But yeah, download Discord. Then we have David Radford here. Thank you very much. You don't have to donate, okay? But since you did, I'll definitely answer your question right now. Then I think I didn't skip anyone over anyone. 70% for depression and anxiety. I know my mental health was a level 4. I don't know what you're talking about on level 4, okay? I'm wondering if you're referencing the proposed mental health criteria. If you are, that's completely irrelevant because it's not final. It doesn't matter right now. I'm waiting on increase, but it's secondary to tinnitus. Will I screw myself? No, you won't. Once something is service connected, that's it. It's service connected. Boom. Unless fraud's involved, severing service connection, extremely rare, not going to happen. As far as your 70%, which means you're looking at 100%, if your symptoms rate the 100% criteria, that's what the question is for you. Okay. It is, I don't want to say rare, but it's uncommon to see 100% for mental health only. It does happen. It's just not common for that. But that's it. There's nothing, you're not screwing yourself at all. I prefer you submit that evidence-based claim, especially for 100% mental health. And if that's you, you would know it. It absolutely sucks. But yeah, wishing you the best. Okay, let me figure out where we were at. I don't want to skip over anyone. Here we are. Urban Astronaut. Thank you for asking a question. Thank you for coming to the stream. It says HLR returned a duty to assist regarding a claim for sleep apnea secondary to rhinitis for clarification of the medical opinion. Can I request an in-person exam instead of just requesting a medical opinion? It doesn't matter. So the thing about sleep apnea is you're either diagnosed or you're not, and so you'll see that through sleep study. There's nothing that you can say for your sleep apnea secondary. It only requires the medical opinion. There's nothing you can say or do to up that at all. Now, your evidence, okay, your evidence, which is going to be reviewed, is really going to come in clutch here, assuming that you have it for rhinitis and sleep apnea. Boom. 2, to answer your question, you can call the VA and ask, but I wouldn't be. I would be surprised if you had an in-person exam for an ACE, anyways. All right, Cheddar Roman. I say it happened in service. If I have a statement support of a claim and a buddy letter, will that make it an in-service event? It could. Okay. Now this is worded weird, and I just want to clarify something because you said I say it happened in service. It has to actually have happened in service. Any evidence that you can provide outside of buddy statements and personal statements is going to be good. Okay. So you're recalling an event. For instance, let's say you fell down and you didn't go to medical, whatever. And you're trying to recall that event. Any piece of evidence, anything that shows that event actually happened would be good. But to answer your question, yes, that would be the in-service event. But if you're relying on statements alone, and this is the truth here, okay? You probably don't want to hear this, but it's the truth. If you are relying on statements alone, your claim is really bad. Not saying it's impossible. It absolutely can happen. It's a super uphill battle. But I would do everything you possibly can to get as much evidence as possible that the event occurred in service. Okay. Ski Dude says, I'm still in the National Guard. What's the best way to go about doc issues I'm having to get service connection, such as tinnitus, foot pain? Go see medical. Okay. Go see medical. I don't know what your guard status is, if you're active guard or whatever that looks like. For current reservists, and the guard, LODs are critical. Okay. So when something happens, going to see medical in the guard or the reserves is much more important. Exacerbated versus active duty. Guard and reserves, to give you the truth, get shafted a lot all the time. They get shafted more than anyone else. And that's not right. It sucks. And evidence becomes extremely important, more important for guard and reserves. So to answer your question is to go get evidence. Go speak with your healthcare team, TRICARE, or whatever that looks like for you, especially after something happens. All right, we got a new member on the channel. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Kevin Stevens, thank you for being a member, supporting the channel. Download Discord. Okay, link your account. Follow the instructions there to link your account. We have a lot of fun in that Discord, so do download that. I'm trying to figure out where we're at. Okay, Christopher Yakout says, anyone know of the likelihood of IDES DOD rating being reduced during reevaluation? It's not. You're worrying about things that you should not worry about. Okay, you're going through an IDES. So IDES is the VA side of the house. Your DOD rating is DOD rating. DOD rating, IDES. Okay, DOD rating, VA rating. They're not the same at all. Two totally different criterias to figure out the overall rating. So don't sweat it. Okay. Jay, thank you for being a member. Says, hi, Clay. I don't retire till the end of the month, and I have my proposed. We answered that, Jay, at the very beginning. Thank you very much, though. All right, we answered that at the beginning. Is my chat messed up? Okay, whatever. Brandon, I have ankle tendonitis left and right service connected, but no ankle tendonitis bilateral. Do I need to file a claim? No, it's already there, okay? So I'm going to do something, actually. I don't have a partnership with this lawyer at all. Just so everyone knows, there's no partnership here at all, okay? But, however, I do think they have the best calculator. You just Google Hill and Patten calculator. All right. There's no affiliation between me and these people, just so you know. I just genuinely like their calculator. So you have 10 and 10. Boom, 20%. Okay. Now you have your left leg connected, your left ankle, and you have your right ankle connected. The bilateral factor is automatically applied. You don't have to do anything for that. Okay. So here you have a bilateral factor of 1.9. There's nothing you need to do. You don't have to do anything for that to be accounted for. It's just accounted for. It's automatic. Okay, we answered that one, Gene. Thank you very much. Just now getting that down to the chat. Appreciate that. Patricia Babcock says, can other than honorable get medical treatment for injuries in service? I have heard I can comp for first contract injuries. Is that right? Oh, yeah. So if you have multiple, there's many things here. I'm going to break it down into two. One is OTH discharges. The other one is multiple enlistments. So let's say you had a honorable first 4 years, you re-enlisted for second 4 years, and on the second term, whatever happens, you get the OTH, you peace out. Okay, boom. That first 4 years is still honorable service. You get all your benefits from those first 4 years. Boom. So yes. Second, something just passed. I'm going to paraphrase here. You're going to have to look it up. Okay. Recently for bad paper discharges for, let's say you had PTSD, you had undiagnosed PTSD in service. That was a factor within the incident that led you to be discharged as an OTH. You can, one, get that reversed, do a discharge upgrade, and two, get medical treatment for PTSD in that little scenario. Okay. So definitely look into that. I'm paraphrasing that. It's much more than that. But that's not what I remember off the top of my head. We have another donation. You don't have to do this, especially Bill. You're a member. Okay. You don't. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I hope I answered your question to the best of my ability, especially after donating. So thank you. All right. Tony Gonzalez says, I'm gathering evidence for rhinitis, secondary sleep apnea. I added words there. I'm gathering evidence for rhinitis, secondary to sleep apnea, IBS, secondary to mental health, and sciatica, secondary to back. How do I go about submitting the claim? Okay. I'm going to speak in two different things here. One, let me pull up my nifty sharing of the screen. I'll share this tab. I'm clicking playlist here. I'm going to VA Disability How-Tos, and I'm going to go to increases and secondaries. I'm going to share that. I'm going to paste that for you in the chat. Okay. So, one, I always recommend using an accredited rep. That's always going to be my recommendation. Use a VSO. Find a good one. Use a VSO to submit the claim. Boom. If you don't, for whatever reason, go online to va.gov. That is a click-by-click tutorial on how to submit a secondary. That's how you do it. For you specifically, I want to speak on what the evidence actually looks like. Rhinitis is PACT Act. It's under the PACT Act, so I'm curious as to if you rate the PACT Act or not. IBS can be under the PACT Act as well. It's under a MUCMI, which is a whole other. I don't want to get into it, but it's possible. Hold on, I gotta sneeze. It's coming. Well, excuse me. That was a good one. Okay. But if you submit IBS secondary, the VA will look at IBS secondary, they'll look at IBS direct, and they'll look at IBS Terra and IBS PACT Act, assuming those apply to you. Okay. So they're going to do that no matter what. Don't worry about it. But you'll see IBS secondary to mental health, specifically on the anxiety side of the house. There's a lot of strong correlation for that. Sciatica secondary to back is easy. An x-ray will tell you if your back condition is pinching your sciatic nerve, or it won't. But if you have sciatica, radiculopathy in each leg, it's pretty likely that your lower back condition is causing that. All right. Elizer, hope I'm saying that right, says, hey, Clay, thank you for what you do. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for coming to the, there's no questions. There's no live stream. So thank you to everyone who's posting questions right now. I got approved for 80% in total. Okay. But I just feel like I was underrated. Would you think I should apply for an increase? Okay. So 80% is your overall rating. And I want to parse out your question here because I want you to understand what I'm about to say. 80% overall means the only thing it means is you're 80% overall. That's it. Okay. What comprises of that 80%? So 50% mental health, 30% IBS, and whatever else to make it 80. That's the question. So are you underrated for anything you're service connected for? That's what you need to be asking, okay? Now, I'm going to show you what's in this video. I'm going to show it to you very, very quick, but I'm also going to link you the video so you can refer back to it, okay? So let me just scroll down here. I know exactly what the thumbnail looks like. It's one of my favorite videos ever. But you can use that to reference back to, save it, bookmark it, do whatever you need to do. And it is, hold on, we're almost there. That's the VFW videos. VFW, Pat Murray, what a great, awesome dude. Boom, here it is. Finding your increase. This is what you need to do. I'm going to show it to you real quick. Now, let's just hypothetically say you are rated for mental health at 50 and you want to know, or you feel like you're underrated. First, feelings don't matter. You need to know you're underrated. So we're going to hit mental health, 38 CFR, eCFR, it's just the electronic CFR. Boom, here we go. Click this bad boy. Mental health is all the same. So you're going to see your general rating formula. And you are, according to my made-up scenario, 50% for mental health. Boom. And so you see this little semicolon right here? This first part is a blanket statement. These are the symptoms for 50%. This is you. Now, that's made up. I don't know if that's you or not, okay? You go to 70%. If you feel like you're underrated, you read this, you'll see the deficiencies in most areas, such as work, school, family relations, judgment, thinking, or mood, due to such symptoms as semicolon. Boom, these are your 70% rating. So if you feel like you're underrated, one, figure out what you're rated for, where you're rated at, and then what the increased symptoms are. Two, go speak to your primary healthcare team and say, hey, I'm experiencing these symptoms. Get that documented, then submit that increase. So feeling like you're underrated, having documented symptoms, and submitting the increase are two totally different things. We're over here. Okay, we are on the evidence-based claim side of the house, and that's definitely what I would recommend for you. We have another donation. You don't have to do that. Okay, I appreciate it. Shadow Master says, my question is, I have AFib and putting hypertension claim, PACT Act. So once I get service connected, high blood, can I say it's hurting my AFib for service on AFib? Okay. I assume you're a Vietnam era veteran because you're talking about PACT Act, service connection, presumptive service connection for hypertension. Can you claim secondaries based off that? The answer is yes. Okay. Now, hypertension has your quasi presumptives, which are basically your quote unquote presumptive secondary conditions. There's three of them. There's heart conditions, there's hardening of the kidney, and there's one more. Oh, I can't think of it because I'm an idiot. Okay, let's go find out. Don't worry. And you know what? There is a beautiful you want to see mediocrity in its highest form? It's CivDivOnline.com. Okay, boom, look at that. Beautiful. It's a stupid t-shirt. You can get it if you want. This one too. Shameless plug. You can go down here for heart conditions, learn more. There's hypertension videos there, blah, 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 blah. Learn more. It's going to put you to the benefit. Now, I don't know where it's at, but I knew no quasi-presumptives. Here we go. Okay, this is the answer. Where can you see that well? Hardening of the kidney, heart attack, or a stroke. Those are the 3 quasi-presumptives. Now, food for thought, your medication, like we said in the beginning, for urinary frequency or overreactive bladder is a pretty solid secondary, assuming you're on the water pill to flush out your system, okay? So keep that in mind. The answer to your question is yes. We have another donation. You don't have to donate for me to answer your question. I will answer your question. Just want to make that clear. But thank you very much, and I'll get to yours here in a second. As a reservist, will being seen by medical during my 2-week annual tour orders for foot pain be sufficient? Going to see medical for that is good. The cause of that condition depends. So, for instance, you're back at home doing whatever it is you're doing, you hurt your foot. Just because you go get seen while you're on orders doesn't mean that condition stemmed from service. One. If that did happen, which I assume is what happened because of how this is worded, if that did happen, there's still another line of service connection, which is aggravation. So is your service aggravating that condition beyond its natural regression? Okay. So for instance, just because you have flat feet doesn't mean that your service made it worse, because your flat feet are going to get worse. It's got it. Natural regression, I'm going to do a little line, is like this, okay? If your service aggravated it, it would look like this, right? And that dip would be the aggravation. At least that's how I think about it in my brain. I hope that helps you out. There's probably a better way to explain that. Okay, oh my goodness. We have a lot. You don't have to do this, everyone. I definitely appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, Vixter, thank you very much, dude. Does it matter if you were not diagnosed during your service, but have it documented versus after your service and you are getting it checked out? It does matter. So a diagnosis in service is like the golden ticket claim, okay? I was diagnosed formally with the ICD code in service, boom, easy peasy. That's going to be a favorable claim like 99% of the time. If you were not diagnosed, which is most veterans, and you have documented symptoms of whatever that condition is, that's also really good. It's not golden ticket level, but it's still absolutely solid evidence. So you still need the in-service event, and you still need the current diagnosis, current meaning within 1 year for that chronic condition, okay? So yes, it matters. But if you have the in-service event and the current diagnosis, that's the criteria, the foundation for the big 3, and the Nexus will be made based off of that. I hope that answers your question, Vixter. Let me know if it did not. Okay, another one, Fragrance Man. It's a funny name. Does a bilateral factor apply multiple times or just once? Just once. Okay, so it's not a compounding factor. So let's go back to our handy dandy calculator here. No partnership. I have to say that again. There's no partnership here. I just like their calculator. Okay. So let's say you have 50% mental health. You have 70 or 30% IBS. You're at 65%. Let me get that to, okay, perfect. Boom. So you have left leg 10, right leg 10. It's only being applied once. Okay. And you can see how that raised it to 78%. So let's say that's left knee, right knee. Let's say you have radiculopathy at 20% each. That's going to raise it a lot. Now you can see it's a 4.8 factor. So before it was a 1.9 factor, which is nothing. You have left leg 20, right leg 20. A 4.8 is a pretty solid factor, and you're at 87%. Now rounded to 90 versus being 78. So bilateral factors do come in clutch, but really once they get higher, you have like left knee, right knee at 10%. That's good, but you're definitely not, it's not on the same scale as a higher bilateral factor, as we just saw here. Okay. But it's applied once. You don't have to apply it yourself. It's automatic. Okay. The VA is not going to screw that up. Believe it or not, the VA is not going to screw up. They're going to mess up our other things. That's going to happen. Bilateral factor is not going to be one of those. Hey, Eli, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay. Thank you for asking that question. I hope I answered it in full. And then Shadow Master, thank you. Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. I always feel weird when I see donations. You don't have to do that at all. And David, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I hope this is value added to everyone's claim situation. I'm going to give you a time, 5:20. That's in 10 minutes to end it. Right now it's 5:10. So at 5:20, I will end the stream here. Okay, I just got my rating, 70%. My wife texted me. Hold on. She said, come help unload the car. Okay, 10 minutes for real now. I just got my 7%, but missed my mental health CMP due to homelessness and no phone. I eventually left voicemails to the examiner, but received no response. Okay, you need to, the examiner doesn't matter. You need to call the VA. Call the VA, Kyle. Call the VA. One, I hope you're working with an accredited rep, especially in your situation. You need to be working with an absolute stellar VSO. That's my number one advice. If that's not you, go find one. Okay. Two, call the VA. Let them know what happened. Also, let them know you're homeless. That will help. There's a hardship there that will help expedite, okay, your claim. But for real though, Kyle, seriously, one, thank you for coming to the channel. I appreciate that. Talk to an accredited rep, not just for your VA claim, but for your situation. There are many, many benefits out there. That accredited rep is really going to be your best point of contact for that. Wishing you the best, man, for real. Okay. All right, Richard Young. Thank you, by the way, Richard. Appreciate that. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, but was denied service connection. I did Southwest Asia. Is it not presumptive? So it can be. You can't get a straight answer. That's because it's in my opinion, MUCMIs are the most difficult VA claim out there. Okay. Because it's difficult, Richard, my recommendation for you would be to find an accredited lawyer. There's no partnership here, but Andy Gross would be my go-to. I don't get anything for that. Although, Andy, hello, brand deal, let me know. Okay. I will market your services for the, or any other lawyer out there. Just saying, that's a shame. That's a plug right there. But I'm going to send you a video for MUCMIs because it's multi-undiagnosed chronic illness symptoms. MUCMI. No. Multi-undiagnosed chronic whatever MCI stands for. As you can see, it's difficult to remember. So it can be presumptive is the best way to say it. And it's very difficult and I hate it. And it's hard to understand. Here's my wife again. Oh, I might be in trouble. Whatever. I need to send you. I'm already deep. I'm committed now. Medically unexplained. Medically unexplained chronic multi-illness. That's what MCI stands for. Okay, watch this. Pin that, bookmark it, do whatever you need to do. Accredited rep for MUCMI denials is my number one advice, hands down. It's not easy. Okay, how does in-service carpal and cubital surgery affect my VA claim? So I have carpal tunnel in my left wrist. You can't see it, but there's a scar from here all the way down here, almost the size of my hand. It happened in service. So you already have the surgeries in service are going to be service connected like almost 99.9% of the time. Okay. Generally for that wrist, you're going to get, so for instance, I have a limited range of motion in my left wrist. I can move it. It definitely hurts, especially if I go like right there. It's painful. It takes muscle to do that. You're going to have 10% for your wrist, generally overwhelming 10%. Your nerve damage is also going to be 10%. Probably it can be 0. Most are 10%. If you have current symptoms, and then scarring. So that wrist condition, I'm assuming you're talking about wrist here, but that the cubital nerve can also be elbow or shoulder condition as well. But that one rating for my wrist at 10 can be a 10% range of motion, 10% carpal tunnel, 10% scarring. Okay. Now you can only have one nerve rating for each arm. So you're not going to see a separate rating for cubital nerve and a separate rating for carpal tunnel because it's in the same arm. Okay. It'll just say carpal tunnel with cubital nerve damage or whatever, however it's worded at 10%. Okay. Sharma, again, thank you. That's your second time of the day. You don't have to do that. I appreciate that. Also, Shadow, brother, this is your third time. You really don't have to do this. No one has to do this. You really don't have to do this either. Last question, is chronic cough claim the same as asthma? Not quite, but if you already have asthma, it's going to be roped into that. It doesn't matter, or it helps me get to ratings to reach 100%. Yeah, so I assume you're already connected for asthma. So you have sleep apnea, asthma, and COPD. There's a few others as well. But those are your top 3 respiratory conditions that are combined. That chronic cough is going to be a result of one of those. Okay, maybe COPD, maybe your asthma. But you'll see, I have seen a lot of chronic cough claims post-COVID vaccine. Do not infer. I don't want to see comments about inferring from that. Okay, do with that as you will. But it can be a compensable rating. All right. It can absolutely be a compensable rating for that. So the answer is yes. It can't be a compensable rating. If you already have asthma, it's going to be roped together. Okay, what I am going to do now, the last few minutes before I have to go, is skim through any member chats before we dip out. Do you have a Discord link invite? I do, actually. That would have been really smart. It's in the description. It's also on the channel. So if you just go to the channel right here, boom, there's the Discord link. Now what I can do is copy the link and throw it. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but if you, okay, that's definitely not the link. I don't know if that's going to work or not by copying it, but it should. Okay, there we go. That's the Discord link. Join the Discord. Everyone join, even if you're not a member, join the Discord. I'm building a team to help answer questions in that Discord. Okay, you are going to be busy for a while with all these questions. Yeah, I have to dip out. Dusky Gator, thank you for being a member again. I appreciate that. I don't even know what you're asking, Ben, but I am in school. I'm in a master's program for youth ministry and family counseling, hoping to do some work in the church at some point in my life. So that'd be great. Okay. Akai, aren't MOs prohibited from MH claims according to M21? No, not at all. I think you misinterpreted that one. Not at all. Medical opinions are required for every claim. Now for PTSD, which I assume what we're talking about here, there's very strict M21 guidance on PTSD. For instance, the VA is going to have to verify that diagnosis, even if it's a private diagnosis. But an opinion is going to be requested for any and all claims, no matter what, except presumptives. Okay. Ben Clay, keep up the great work. You still suck. Yeah, thank you. the polls on the community tab, which, by the way, if you don't keep up on the community tab, you absolutely should. You just click community up here, and then you can vote on things. We hit 40K the other day, which is just awesome. Okay. Thank you very much. Slow growth is the name of the game. Kevin, thank you again for being a member. Appreciate that. Bradley, thank you for that. Appreciate it. Bill, thank you again. Appreciate that. Shadow, appreciate that. Victor, appreciate that. Fragrance, thank you. Elizer, Shadow again. David, thank you. Happiness. Okay, if we file supplemental claim for PTSD, TBI, and doctor wrote an IMO to consider for aid in attendance with a list of why, can we still add an aid in attendance official form and add they make decision or after decision? Okay. I don't know what's going on. Let me read this to myself. If you're claiming A&A, I would submit for A&A specifically. Okay? That's what I would do. Even if it's a double tap, it would be a forcing function. Highly recommend working with an accredited rep, especially for this one. So the answer to your question is yes, you should. Okay? Absolutely. Jim Jones, my girlfriend's dad died of pancreatic cancer the other day, and we wanted to get him rated by the PACT Act because he was on Adak Island as a Navy fireman exposed to a lot of chemicals. You can do that. It's going to be difficult, okay, but you absolutely can, and you should. Richard Young, we answered that one. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Happiness, I'm late. Was at work. No big deal at all. We answered that one. Thank you very much. Sharma, thank you. Shadow, again, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Just going down the list here, making sure we don't skip anyone. Thumbs up for Dr. Sharma's course. I went through it all on Friday. Hey, awesome. That's right. Dr. Sharma has a course, okay? And if you want to take control of your mental health or at least get better at it and understand what the heck's happening, you can take Dr. Sharma's course. You'll find the link in the description. Thank you for mentioning that, Jamie. I appreciate that. He's a board-certified psychiatrist, teaches psychiatry. He's just a good dude, okay? Air Force veteran as well. Shadow, again, dude. I'm only donating because you helped me with a lot of videos. Dude, thank you. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I appreciate that. And happiness. Last one. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming out to the stream. I appreciate it. If there's no questions, there's no live stream. I got to go before my wife kills me. I'm a dad of 4, husband of 1. That's a joke. Okay. Peace.